Chapter 3, test solutions. Let's get right after it. Number 1 says that I got to write an inequality. It crosses at plus 4. It has a slope of negative 2/5. And it's shaded above the line, so it's going to be greater than. It's dashed, so there's no equal to. So the correct answer here is that right there. Also, if you tested a point, if you tested 0, 0, you would get 0 is greater than 4, which is false. So that means do not shade the 0, 0 side, but shade the other side. All right, let's go to number 2. Same type of problem, different line. So this one we're crossing at negative 4. Our slope is going, it looks like down 2 over 1. And it's shaded below the line, so it's less than. And it is solid, so there's going to be the equal to bar. So there we go, correct answer. And you could put 0, 0 in and test it. It would fail. You would get 0 is less than or equal to negative 4, which is, again, is false. So don't shade 0, 0 side, shade the other side. All right, number 3. This one says outdoor music venue, lawn tickets for 30, and it said X is the lawn tickets. And then we have the seated tickets are 50, which these were the Y's, and we need at least 15,000. So at least means we got to be greater than or equal to 15,000. It's $30 times every lawn ticket plus 50 times every seated ticket, and there would be our inequality for that word problem. Going on up to number 4. I got to punch these into my graphing calculator, so I'm going to pull up my graphing calculator here. And let's just do that. And I'll kind of move this over a little closer. And let me go to stat. And we will edit. And I got to clear out my old list. So clear, enter, arrow over, clear, enter. Got to punch these numbers in. So on this side we have 38, 56, 59, 64, and 74. And then on the Y side, enter, over, 41, 63, 70, 72, and 84. Enter. All right, got my numbers in, so I go back to stat. I want to go over to calc, and I want to go down to linear regression and hit enter, 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 enter. Boom. So I'm going to write these down. So I have, for my equation, it looks like we needed to round to the nearest hundredth. So I'm going to have y equals 1.20 when I round that. And then that's the x minus, looks like 3.66. So there would be the equation here. And the r value is this bottom one to 4 decimal places would be 0.9941. Be careful. Some of you guys looked at the r squared. That's something else that you'll deal with in AP statistics. All right, moving on down. Number 5, it says use your regression equation in number 4 to predict the length of the humerus. If the femur was 50, the femur was x. So we're going to punch in our calculator. Y equals 1.20. Here's where I put my femur length in. I want to put the 50 in though. And then minus the 3.66, I believe it was. And I'm pretty sure the correct answer here was 56.34. All right, number 6, which is the following correlation shown. Well, looking at this problem, it's definitely a positive correlation. And the dots are really tight, so it is a strong positive correlation. Number 7, this one's straight off the SAT. So I have a best fit line that is going to come right through here somewhere. So I know it's got a positive slope. That's kind of my first thing, is I got to have a positive slope. So that wipes out u, and that wipes out u. So now I got to determine, is the slope 3 or is the slope 0.8? The intercepts, it's kind of close. I would lean towards this one just by peeking at the intercepts, but I might want to pick a couple dots. For instance, that dot is about at 2.7. Another dot that's pretty close to the line is 7, call it 22. And when I do y take away y, change in x, I get a slope of 3. So I'm going to go with A there. Number 8, solve this problem. So I'm going to solve both sides. So first thing I'm going to do is add 6. And then divide by -3, which means I have to flip the sign. So x is less than or equal to -7. Well, that's right here. And none of the other ones have that. So I could pretty much be done. I'll do the other side just to do it. -9 from both sides. Divide by a -6. So we got to be greater than 1, which is that one. Correct answer there was C. Going on up to number 9. Remember, all absolute value problems have to have 2 cases solved. So the first thing we need to do is we need to isolate the absolute value symbol. So I'm going to get rid of divide by 2 by timesing both sides by 2. So I have the absolute value of p plus 3 equals 2. Forces me into 2 cases. You put the stuff inside the absolute value and do it as is. And then you put the stuff inside the absolute value and make it a negative. So you get p equals -1 or p equals -5. Number 10. Same thing here. I got to get the absolute value bars by themselves. So I have to divide by that -7. And right here is a violation. You can never have, I don't care what you are, if the absolute value equals a negative number, that's impossible. Because the absolute value of anything is going to be positive. So this one's a no solution. It's a special case. All right, moving on down to number 12. Which of the following is not a solution to that? So you could just plug numbers in. Some people did that and see which one is not going to work. And if you did that, -12 would not work in there because 10 plus a -12 would be -2. Absolute value of -2 is +2, and 2 is not greater than or equal to 3. So that's why C did not work. Some people actually went through and solved it as well. So if you did that, you drop the bars and you solve one case as is. So you get x is greater than or equal to -7. Kind of picture a number line here. Greater than or equal to -7. And then if you do it the other way, 10 plus x, you have to flip the sign and make it negative. So x is less than or equal to -13. So, and if you look in here, you know, -15 fits in that solution area. -13 actually fits into that solution area just barely. -6 is bigger than -7, so that would live here. And -12 is the one that would be in no man's land, right in there. So a couple different routes how you could tackle that. I'm going to kind of use the graph here to kind of cheat on this next one. Which function has a vertex at, so this is left 4, up 3. So when you're writing your equation, left 4 means I got to do a +4. Left and right's opposite of what you think. Up 3 would be the +3. So I believe the correct answer here is D. I guess I didn't really need the graph for that one. Next problem, number 14. This one, if g of x is a reflection of this guy, so I strongly suggest graphing these reflection ones. So let me do the f function in blue. It looks like it's going to flip, so it's going to go down. We're going to go left 5 units, and we're going to go up 3 units. So I got to go left 5, up 3, and I got to flip it down. So here is the picture of that graph. Now notice where his intercepts are. His intercepts are right there at -2 and -8. Now I want to reflect it across the y-axis. So everything has got to bump across this line right here. So we got to flip across that line. So if everything flips across the line, this point is going to flip right over here. This point is going to flip right over there. This point is going to flip right over here. And this would be the reflection graph. And you'll notice that his intercepts live right there at 8, 0 and 2, 0. So the correct answer here is C. Number 15, I'll kind of keep the grid in case I need it. This one says g of x is a reflection across the x-axis of, so we'll do this one the same way. So that says go right 3, down 2. And I get to keep the slope at 1. There's no number to change things at all. And this time we're reflecting across the x-axis. So I'm going to be reflecting across this line, which is going to make me, this point is going to jump up here. It'll have the exact same intercepts. And so that equation, if I need to write the equation for this person, there was no change in slope, so there's no number in front. There does need to be a negative in front because it flipped down. And then we went right 3, and then we need to go up 2. So look, we're looking for that. Negative plus, or no, negative, my bad. It went right. So this needs to be a -3. It's like, oh, we don't have the right answer here. Correct answer would be D. All right, number 16, graph this absolute value inequality. So right away, we know that there's going to be some shade that has to happen, and we know it's an absolute value, so we're going to have some sort of a V. So we got to shade and do the V. And then we also got to remember that this is going to be a dotted line. So first thing is, it looks like it went right 2, but then it didn't move up or down because there's nothing at the back. So we're right here, and we need to go, this 2 makes me have a slope up 2 over 1. 2 over 1, 2 over 1, 2 over 1, 2 over 1. Boom, 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 boom. Dotted line. Dotted line. And then the shade, since it's greater than, we're going to shade above. So this should be our shaded area. So I think we're all set now. Number 17. This is the old triangle one. We saw it in the homework, saw it on the review. So I'm going to be flipping my V. I'm going to be changing the slope. And I'm going to be going up 4. There was no left or right inside the bracket, so I don't have to worry about left or right. So if I go up 4, flip it means I'm coming down, and I'm coming down at a slope of 1 to 2. 1 to 2, 1 to 2. 1 to 2, 1 to 2, 1 to 2, 1 to 2. So here is that. We're trying to find the triangle that's above the x-axis but below the graph. So we need to find the area of that triangle, which has a height of 4 and a base of 8 to negative 8 would be 16. So area of a triangle, 1/2 base times height. Half of 16 is 8. 8 times 4 is 32. A couple more here. Number 18. First thing I want to do is just graph. I'm going to first just graph the line y equals negative x. So that means it has a slope of negative 1, goes through the origin. So it's going to be this line. It is going to be dotted because of that symbol. So let me do a dotted line. Dotted. And then it's less than, so we need to shade below. You couldn't use 0, 0 as a test point here. You'd have to use, a number somewhere else. And if you like test points, you just have to choose one and see if it works. For instance, we could try 1, 2. Whoop. Turn my dotted stuff off. So 1, 2 would be that, and that's false. Negative 1's not bigger than 2. So you'd shade the other side. All right, number 19. Whoa. 19 is lower, my bad. Number 19 says, name the point where the absolute value parent function and the equation y equals blah, blah, blah intersect each other. So first of all, let's do the absolute value parent function, which lives right here. And then we got to do y equals negative 2x plus 6, cross at positive 6, slope of negative 2. And I believe I just got our intersection point. It lives right there, which is at 2, 2. All right. Now we're at number 20, the last one. What's fine is not a solution. So totally up to you. You could just test these and put them all in here and see who's not the solution. I'm going to do a little bit different though. I'm going to graph. Sometimes I'd rather not like brute force it. I'd rather graph it. So if I graph that thing, I'm going to first just graph the line, 2x minus 5y. I'm just going to pretend it's equals. And I like to do intercepts with standard form if I can. So if x is 0, y is negative 2. And if y is 0, x is 5. And since it has this bar, it's going to be a solid line. Kind of walk the slope on out. So I get this. And it's, right now I can't look at it and say it's below the line because you really should solve it for y before you can do that little above or below trick. So if I did solve it for y, I would have this, negative 5y less than or equal to negative 2x plus 10. Divide both sides by a negative, which now it would flip, and divide everybody by negative 5. So you get y equals 2/5 x minus 2, which again would give me this line if I wanted to graph it that way. And now it's above. And also you could put 0, 0 in over here. 0 take away 0 is less than or equal to 10. That's true. So you're going to shade the 0, 0 side. And if I look at all these points, this point is in the solution region. 2, 2 is in the solution region. Negative 3, 1, solution region. This one, 5, negative 1, lives outside the shaded zone. So the correct answer there is D. All right, hopefully this helped you out. And if you struggled on this test, hopefully you'll have a little bit more success on the retake. See you.